Hey everybody, it is Courtney Jones with WREN, taking over for Deborah for a little while, but I wanted to bring you our guest this month, Catherine Bell, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about Catherine and introduce you to her and let her tell you what she's going to be talking to us about this month for our June meeting. So, Catherine is a strategic, inspiring investor for sure. She specializes in investments that are focused on like being the bank and renting dirt, which sounds amazing, right? Primarily through mobile home parks, which is what she'll be talking to us about this month. And Catherine, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you. I'm excited. Any way that we can empower women. Oh my gosh, this is like this brings makes my heart just sing and brings me so much joy.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what's funny is I recently had the opportunity to talk to some people, and I was talking to a group, and it was all women, and they were asking me a lot of questions about being a woman in real estate and everything. And what was really interesting, which I said to them, was when I was started 33 years ago, I didn't even ever, it never dawned on me I was the only woman in the room. Like it wasn't even a thing. Like it
Right?
was just, that was just the way it is. And it's just been recently where all these organizations have popped up and stuff. It is so inspiring and so exciting. And I know it's great to be a part of it, isn't it?
I love it. Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about what you're going to talk to us about next week.
So, a little bit about my story is having women understand like how I got started, why I got started, and why I'm here where I'm at right now, so that
Okay.
they have the courage to look at their own story, their own journey, and to explore it in a way that will have them get eventually to the place of landing on the thing that makes their heart sing. Right.
That's
So,
beautiful. Yeah.
a little bit about my story is so I'm Canadian, married an American, and I was 26 when I came to this country. And we were millionaires by the time I was 30 years old. And we did that because he had a dream. We took his dream, we turned it into a multi-million dollar company. And at the same time, I understood that the average millionaire had 7 streams of passive income. So at that point, we sort of started dabbling in being like buy and hold investors at that point. So we had single family homes. Only I discovered I didn't like tenants and toilets.
Right.
And then, right. And then went on, I did some wholesaling. And then fast forward, my husband ended up getting really, really sick about 10 years into our marriage. And at that point, I was a stay-at-home mom with our twins that we had adopted. And all of a sudden I was like, holy Moses, I have to now go back to work to provide for our family. And so he was super sick. I was working 80 hours a week and coming home, taking care of him, taking care of my twins. I was like, what am I going to do? And burning the candle at both ends just to keep us afloat. And I knew that this wasn't sustainable. So knowing that the average millionaire had 7 streams of passive income, I was like, I've really got to dig into this and figure this out. So that's when we ended up here in Arizona and ended up running a program called the Flipping Females. And what I did is I partnered with women and we taught them how to invest. We flipped about 500 properties here in Arizona. So again, loved the dramatic before and after, but it was an obscene amount of work, right? And
Oh, yeah.
then went on and discovered that in any real estate investing transaction, the bank is the most secure position to be. So I was like, well, how do you be the bank? And so I started looking into that. And one of the ways is to have a hedge fund. So I started my own hedge fund and we did a bunch of vacation rentals. Turns out I don't like guests and toilets either. And then we did residential developments, commercial developments. And then in 2018, my husband died unexpectedly
Oh,
and
geez.
very tragically. So all of a sudden, overnight, I'm left a widow and a single mom with 14-year-old twins. It
Oh,
was
wow.
horrific.
Oh, I'm sure.
But at that point, I had created 13 streams of passive income for myself and my family. And that's what allowed me to take a year off and to grieve and figure out what I was going to do with my twins. And so, long story short, I ended up shutting everything down because at the end of the day, chasing money it just didn't fulfill me and life is too short. And so that's when I really dug into, okay, out of all those things that I did, I go through a completion process and I actually coach on this, like how to actually get complete and pull out the pearls of wisdom and the nuggets of gold with every single deal that we've done. And that's when I landed on my personality that I love being the bank and renting dirt. Those are my things.
Right.
And
Right.
so then I formed Titan Impact Group, and Titan Impact Group, my number one is that, we leave every person, property, and community better than we found them. No matter what I do, if the project doesn't do that, I don't want to be a part of it. So I got really clear on that. And then the next is, do I get to be the bank and do I get to rent dirt? And so that's what I love about mobile home parks, is because it allows me to rent dirt. And then we do triple net lease commercial, which again, be the bank, rent dirt, debt validation. So there's multiple asset things that we invest in on our platform with our investors so that they get to be the bank and rent dirt as well. And what I love about it, and people are like, what do you mean rent dirt? Well, if you think about a mobile home park, right? Here's what I want you to think about. So first of all, when I had the house, right, there was one door. When that tenant moved out or stopped paying rent, I felt 100% of that pain. Right now,
Right.
think about a mobile home park. Right now, there's 200 pads. If one or two people move out or stop paying rent, I don't even feel it.
Right.
It's a blip on the radar. And even if I'm not 100% owner of the whole park, but I'm a partial owner inside of that. I mean, we all like barely feel a blip of it. So that was a huge like wake up call for me, realizing that again, because I'm a widow and a single mom, like I can't feel 100% of the pain. I have to figure out how to like mitigate the risk. And so that was a big thing for me. And then the other thing, like especially with what's happening in the economy, realizing that it doesn't matter whether it's a good economy or a bad economy, who's president, whatever, it doesn't matter. We will always need affordable housing,
For sure.
always.
Yeah.
So when we understand, like, okay, what are we always going to need? What can I get out in front of? Because we see what's happening in multifamily right now, right? So I mean, again, it's like you just have to pay attention to the economy and pay attention to the future needs, but affordable housing is always going to be needed. And what I love about this, again, I simply rent the pads of dirt, right? Like I mean, there's slabs, but
Sure. Right.
I'm only responsible for the utilities. So I have to make sure that the electrical, the water, the sewer, all that, the infrastructure is taken care of, but the actual structure itself isn't my responsibility. Like my responsibility ends right when the electricity, the water, and the sewer connect to the actual mobile home. And what I love about that is like, so one of our communities in Mesa, I love it because these people, they really take pride in ownership of their little
Their little
kingdom,
box,
right?
right? Yeah.
Yeah, like
Right.
they actually have pride of ownership. They, plant flowers, they paint it, like they keep it clean because it's their little space, right? And so there's something powerful about giving them that pride of ownership. And then the other piece that we do in our communities is that we bring in financial literacy into the communities so that these families, now this one person at a time, one family at a time, learns financial literacy, because financial literacy is the unfair advantage. And it failed at, like, it was, our public school system has absolutely not incorporated that at all. Neither has college, like none of it. So it's like, where does it begin? Well, it begins with us. So by meeting them where they're at, we bring in the financial literacy, we teach them how to get out of debt, how to tell money where to go, meaning like budgeting, and then how to have an emergency fund, how to have their first down payment on a home. Then we help them actually get into their first home, which now moves them out of the community, which means more families can move in. And we do this
Yes.
again and again. So now, again, we leave every person, property, and community because it's impacting the community, even at a microeconomic scale. But we do this with thousands of people. It makes a massive difference. And then we're leaving a legacy generationally, right? So again, that's why we love mobile home parks. And we
I
look
love
at,
it.
like, people are like, it's so scary, it's so big. Again, here's the thing I look at, like, it's not what you know, it's who you know. You don't have to be the expert in all of it, but you can plug into somebody who has all the expertise and the team in place, and you get to be a part of all of that, right?
That's
Because let me
fantastic.
tell you, it is a full-time job. Don't get me wrong. Like running
Then you're
these
not sitting around
parks,
eating bonbons collecting passive
yeah,
income during this, right?
no, no,
No.
it's a thing. It's a
Yeah,
thing. You're
for
always
sure.
dealing with, sewer, electrical. Like we're always, especially right now in Arizona, when it's 100 and holy, too hot. We're dealing with, the heat of the power lines.
Right.
I mean, it's an actual thing. or sewer issues because people flush things down the toilet they shouldn't have. It's just like this is what it is.
So you still have
But
the toilets issue. It's just on a different level and you
with the
like this
sewer
part of
issue,
it.
yeah.
If you guys have found
Yeah,
Catherine to be inspiring, and I know you have, there's no way possible that you've heard this, then join us next Wednesday. That's the 19th at 5 p.m. Pacific time for our WREN meeting. And we'll put the link down below so you can hear her entire journey and her plan and how you could get involved if this is kind of the path that you find for yourself as well. So Catherine will be joining us next Wednesday, the 19th, for our WREN meeting, for our monthly meeting. Make sure you click on that, count me in, and get your registration link, and we will see you then. Thank you so much, Catherine. I really appreciate you sharing with everybody today, and I can't wait to hear more next week.
absolutely. Thank you.